Welcome back to DAF Build. If you haven't seen my previous videos, do go back, have a look over. We are working on my 1989 Porsche 911 Turbo Replica. Today we're going to do a little bit less work in comparison. I've just had my second 5G injection. My thoughts are currently being beamed to the government. They already know everything I've done in the past as well as what I'm yet to do in the future, and of course what you are now going to know today. I'm going to remove the bumper along with the front guards, going to have to actually grind them off. I already did try to drill the rivets out of the rear bumper, and because they actually have kind of gone in, kind of not, they're just spinning. So I'm going to have to tackle them with a grinder. Same on the front. It is not fun, but unfortunately it's the only way it's ever going to come off, and I do need to actually remove it. The back bumper will foul on the space frame when I lift the body off, which I do need to do. The front guards do need to be drilled properly so they can go on with nuts and bolts, and of course the rubber gasket to stop water ingress getting through. There's a bit to do, not a massive amount because my arm is just wrecking me right now. Let's crack on. So now with the guards off, we can see a bit more of the hackery which took place behind here, namely this section. From here to here, it should be joined. This entire piece has been removed, so they've cut out all of this section, including back here, to get to some bolts easier. There's no other reason for it. I can't understand why they would hack this up so badly, and it's just irreparable in terms of trying to reconstruct it and put it together in one piece without doing what I'm having to do now and taking it apart again. It's just stupid. I don't understand what the reasoning was behind it. Add to that the 1,000,001 ways they tried to drill into the actual frame piece to put the guards on. There is so many holes here. So many attempts to actually put pop rivets and screws actually went from the inside into the actual guard to put some screws into, and they were just spinning as it was. They did not even make contact with the fiberglass. It blows my mind. It really does. It's funny. It kind of is funny. The fact that you can spend what was a decent amount of money for this kit and everything attached to it at the time to then ruin it, completely destroy it. It's mind-boggling, it really is. But anyway, moving past that, I have noticed something really interesting further, and I love finding these little bits because it means I'm actually getting somewhere with hopefully trying to fix everything about this tub. Where this part is here, which of course is the back piece that goes onto the inside section, this has a gap here at the top, which, okay, yeah, I kind of expected that. However, in front of it here, and I'll show you on the inside as well, it's not as visible inside the petrol tank area. However, there's a very thin seam and a very wobbly seam at that joins this bottom section onto the top. What I'm hoping again in turn with the actual side rails here is that if I actually cut that section out, because it is so thin, it is a thin layer there, it might, again, make this thing twist into place. So they've, again, hacked it up, cut it out, couldn't figure out how it went together, seen that in, and then of course, maybe they found the roof wouldn't go on, just called it a day and just gave up on it. I don't know, but realistically, this is just another point of the fact that they just really did not have a clue what they were doing. Sad, but great for me. Diving in a bit deeper underneath the body. Well, probably easier to show you on this one. So if that isn't a fine bit of welding craftsmanship, I do not know what is. There is barely anything holding that on there, but surely enough, it exists. If we go up a bit further, it's just been tacked on. It doesn't really look like it was originally a part of the structure. They've simply included it later, or again, couldn't figure out how to fit it, hacked it up, re-welded it, and there we are. So the guards weren't too bad. A few nicks and scratches, gouges in the fiberglass. The stupidest thing though is this cut they've done. Again, no reason why, but this entire bottom section here, still quite firm luckily, but they've angle grinded all through this section here. And no, seriously, I didn't do that one. Luckily a bit of fiberglass can fix that, not too serious there. The other side, however, which I'll flip over now, this section here, which is how it was riveted onto the tub, as you can see, it's just got so many holes, a gouge here which was from before, I don't understand. It should realistically have a lip which goes underneath this so it can properly bolt onto the bottom of the tub. So this section here can have the rubber within it. Underneath is where you would then bolt it to the actual chassis. It makes much more sense. So I will be kind of adding a bit of fiberglass to this, just filling out the bottom section, give it a bit of surface area so I can properly attach it to the car. It just makes it so much easier in the future servicing it, taking the guards off. If I need to repair a guard for whatever reason, it just means I can actually do things a lot simpler. Down the bottom, they simply just had, again, pop rivets into the tub. Let's do it properly this time. The back bumper area. Not too bad. Overall, pretty decent. Nice clean area. Stupidly, doesn't have any fiberglass lip along this taillight section. The only thing that was supporting the bumper itself to the body was along this section. There goes a bit of fiberglass. This section here, and then of course this back section. The taillight section is just a thin piece of fiberglass to hold the light in place. There isn't a lip to bolt the bumper onto. I would like to add a bit more surface area there so we have a much more firmer fit so it doesn't bounce around. There is also a rubber gasket to go in between, which obviously wasn't included. They simply used, it must be on the bumper at the moment, they simply used some sort of silicone. So it was holding on there rather well at the back, I must say. Again, not proper, not the way it should be done, and for a little bit more cost you get the proper result. I will be doing that. I will add that lip, and I will do away with these, what seems to be 1970 Jaguar XJ connectors, which we know how that turned out. The rear bumper, nice bit of kit, much like the front bumper, good and solid, lightweight, reasonably sturdy, reasonably well hacked up. We expect that one now. The number plate lights, we don't have any of those here in this bumper. They will need to be added for road compliance. There is another problem I have in that the tail lights that are on there are completely ruined. They do need to be changed. And given this body is a 964 like, more so than a 930, the tail lights on there are wrong for it. I will change those out. The problem is that does mean I don't have any reverse lights. I may actually, maybe, go for a combination reverse and number plate light, simply because I don't want Porsche on the body. It's not a Porsche. I'm not going to try and make it look like a Porsche with badges and all that sort of thing. It is going to be its own. Unfortunately, because of that, there is no fill-in for the back piece. I'll have to figure out what to do there, but that back piece on a 964 has the reverse lights. So if I put them in the bumper with the actual number plate lights, it kind of solves that issue. I'd like to try and make it as proper looking as possible. This is a large European size cutout. I can get Euro style plates, more expense, not really worth it. But to have the actual lights either side there, acting as both number plate and reverse, I think it'll just be a bit nicer. It'll add a bit of difference again to the actual look. And of course, then I can figure out what to do with that filling plate underneath. Behind it, I'll just show you, of course, this is how they actually attached it. As I showed you, there is no lip along this section here, it was resting. There is enough meat here to do so, funnily enough, so I've got plenty of ability when I add a lip to the body to then be able to add bolts and nuts through here. This section, all this, this silicone stuff here, yeah, there we go. It's like a rubberized texture. Anyway, that's going. We will, of course, be adding the nice rubber which goes along there. I'll have to get rid of the rest of these pop rivets that are still embedded into the fiberglass. Anyway, but yeah, really good bumper. I like it. It's solid, does the job, looks the part. Moving on. Well, thank you for... Wow, it's echoing in here. Anyway, thank you for joining me again today, guys. Sorry for the short episode. Again, my arm is really sore, so just try and take it easy. As always, though, thank you for joining. Like, subscribe, comment below, etc. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbour that the 5G injection does absolutely nothing to your mind and that everything the government does is good for you always. Anyway, thanks for joining. Didn't I do this?